Chapter 18. Want a battle? When I was released from Suffolk County, there were two things on my agenda. The first was to find someone that could help me make tapes of my rhymes. The second was to find Dre. Unfortunately, the latter came first. My first day home, I was with Kali, and I saw him talking to a girl in a car on Glenwood Avenue. As soon as he turned around and walked down the hill, I caught him, punched him right in his face. Dre never saw it coming. "What's up, money?" The bottle of juice he was holding fell out of his hands and smashed to pieces on the sidewalk. "Who got who now, huh?" Instead of stepping up like a bitch, he started circling around this parked car to avoid me. I chased him around about 10 times before I ran out of patience. "Don't worry, nigga. I'm gonna see you, and I bet you don't walk on this block no more." Kali and I started walking toward Ravine. Then, just as we got to the end of the block, I heard Dre yell out, "Hey, X, what's up now?" I turned around and saw five of his boys with bottles in their hands, crouched down gorilla style next to some trees. Dre had been hustling for some older dudes in the neighborhood, and I guess now I was messing with one of their workers. "What's going on with you and my peeps?" this kid named Kenny asked me. Kenny and I knew each other, but he was about hustling, and I was about robbing. That meant we didn't get along too well. "Your man snitched on me." "I'm saying, what's up though?" "He turned me in, right to my face." "So what's up?" "Well, what's up? Nothing, nigga." The brawl was on. I had a little size on me for my time locked up, so I took on a few guys. Kali called Buzzy and my other uncle Buckeye from out of my grandmother's house, and once sticks and bats and kitchen knives came into play, things got ugly. I was supposed to be the one getting jumped, but I never left my feet once. That was a weak consolation prize, though, because I got arrested again. The cops always believed the loser. I hadn't been home 24 hours. Things always seemed to happen to me that way. I would come home from jail and get arrested again. Come home and get arrested again, often within a few days of each other. It was like if I stayed out of trouble that first week, then I'd be good. But all of my jail time only increased my resolve to do music and gave me more time to write my rhymes. When I came home in the summer of '88, I was determined not to get knocked again because I had 15 or 20 whole songs written and I had a plan for them. I was going to make my own mixtapes and sell them on the street to make money. The first step to making a tape was to find a DJ with a microphone and a pair of turntables who knew how to loop a bunch of instrumentals together. Then, since I didn't have any music, hoped that he had copies of the hot songs on the radio that I could use to kick my rhymes over. When I finally found a DJ and first heard my voice recorded over a banging beat, I knew I had something special because it sounded dope, real dope. Now, all I had to do was make copies of them because even if they hadn't heard of me, I knew that people would want to buy my shit so they could get all of the hot music off the radio. And that was the hardest thing to do because you had to find someone that had a double cassette deck. So right away, I got real friendly with whoever had one and went over to their crib and spent hours dubbing as many tapes as possible. If I didn't have a blank, I would just find a pre recorded joint and stuff a piece of tissue into the holes on the top so that I could tape over it. Old Billy Ocean albums became DMX the Great mixtapes. I was manic about it because I loved hearing my voice on tape and knew that I could get at least $5 each for them. It was cool if it took a few hours to crank out 8 tapes because then I could just go up the block and come back down with $40 or $50 in my pocket. Selling mixtapes was the best idea I had in a long time, and after a couple of weeks hustling them, almost the whole city was buzzing with my music. It was like the more tapes I sold on Warburton, the more I took down to Ravine. The more I sold on Ravine, the more I brought up to Mulford. Once School Street was filling me, then I took a bunch of tapes to Slow Bomb. Soon, I was walking all over Yonkers making money from my raps, flipping hot songs on the radio into my own DMX the Great joint. But even though I believed right away that my versions were better than the originals, a lot of times to get somebody to buy a tape, I had to show and prove. And that didn't bother me at all. "Do you rap?" If I saw a group of guys hanging out on the corner, I would run right up on them. "Want a battle?" If somebody even acted like they rapped, I wanted to get it on. I didn't care if I knew the brother or not, if he was from School Street or any other part of town. I just wanted to challenge anybody I could, especially when I knew that if I slaughtered him, the next time I came around him or one of his friends would probably buy a tape. See, I wasn't scared about battling someone on their own turf because I quickly realized that MCs thought they had an advantage on their block when they really didn't. They didn't understand that because they were the block MC and were always kicking their rhymes to everybody. Their rhymes and punchlines weren't so hot anymore. Everybody had already heard what you had to say. If your boy could finish off your rhyme for you or whisper in your ear when you start to run out of things to say, to tell you to say the one about his mother, that never looked good. So I knew the crowd was going to go for me when I came around with flows and styles and lyrics that no one had heard before. Battles had become war to me. I didn't play fight. I would never half diss somebody. I wanted to embarrass you as much as I possibly could and make sure that you wouldn't want to shake my hand afterwards. Fuck you and your bitch girlfriend. And why doesn't your mother suck my dick? I always made it personal. Nothing was too rude or vicious for me because I didn't care. This was a battle. There were no rules. And I wasn't going to let somebody bite me on a rap tip because I played with him. In the late 80s, the more I battled, the more I won. And the more I won, the more energy I had for it. Battling made me feel powerful, like my rap skills were grenades in my pocket and I could throw at any time. I just wanted to finish everybody, shut down every MC I came across, and make them want to give up rhyming for good. That's why I loved when fake MCs had their girlfriends with them. Once I started killing them, either their chick would get embarrassed and start looking around like, oh man, that was bad enough. Or she would just break down and start laughing at her man. That was terrible because then the brother had to walk away with a loss and hear the jokes from a shorty who was now ready to be his ex. I don't remember getting any pussy like that though, but it still made me know that I was the man. Always after I was through with a battle, then I would sell whatever tapes I had and just roll out. DMX the Great, baby. And I'm not to be fucked with because I'm deadly with the motherfucking mic. While hip hop was becoming more and more popular, there weren't too many people around that were interested in making the music. Guys like Imperial JC or the Moet Posse had stuff to throw parties with and they did a few shows, but they were much older than me. And the brothers that just freestyled on the block didn't have any equipment to take it further. But there was one guy I heard about who had his own microphone and tape deck in his apartment. He called himself Lord Kaysen. The first thing I noticed when I walked into Kaysen's apartment was the number of records he had. Hundreds of albums and 12-inch singles were all thrown about the floor. Others were tucked together in rows of milk crates he had stacked against the wall. To test him, I asked him if he had this funk joint called Mardi Gras and this Billy Squire dance record called Big Beat that I had heard on the radio the week before. When he pulled out 2 copies of each of them, I knew he was legit. By this time, I had rhymes that I knew would go over well with certain instrumentals, but messing around with random DJs, I just didn't have access to all of the music that I wanted. But not only did Kaysen have the right music, but he could perfectly cut up and loop whatever I wanted. I was so amped because now all of my rhymes could really come alive and I could spit full songs with proper verses and hooks. The first day I met him, Kaysen and I must have stayed up half the night putting jams on the tape. Yo, X man, that flow is dope, Kaysen said after I finished spitting the third verse to a joint called Spellbound. I just extended the spelling style that I used on K Solo in Suffolk County into 3 verses and added a hook. Kaysen came up with the bright beat, and just like that, the two of us had put together a banging song. Yo, can you see me? No, I'm the DIVINEDOPEMC, RUGGED on the MIC, ROPHONE, and I'm GOINGPLACESY, BECAUSE. I am the best. Just keep coming with the beats, K. Cause dog, I'm telling you, I got fucking rhymes. I used to really study how rappers made songs. I would hear a jam on the radio and try to figure out how many bars there were in each verse or predict when the break would come. After a while, I realized that most good songs followed a certain pattern, that there was a method to creating a great piece of music. 3 verses, 16 bars to each verse, with 8 bar hooks, and either a 4 or an 8 bar intro. I applied those rules to my own lyrics, and it helped me grow as a writer. With other people's songs, I began to hear where an MC fell off beat or cheated and said 15 bars instead of 16 and just grunted their way into the hook. Uh huh. See, he messed up right there. He can't fuck with me. I used to tell Kason when we'd be listening to the radio together. A lot of rappers who are out now still don't understand what the purpose of bars is because they write in odd numbers. Or they try to get away with an 8 bar verse and an 8 bar hook. Now their song is only 2 minutes and they'll have to repeat themselves or sing their way to the end. That was never good enough for me. Say something to the people, please, because without a proper science to your music, you're not really giving us enough. A few weeks after I met Kason, he told me that a friend of his named Daryl D. Mack wanted to battle me. I knew the dude was whack, but I thought instead of us battling on the corner, why didn't Kason invite him over to the apartment and we could go at it on tape? He had a little rep, and that way we'd have something to sell afterwards. It was a good idea. With the battle, Kason and I put some of the new songs that we had done together on the tape, like Spellbound, the Sesame Street rap I did at the center, breaking it down, and another joint called Unstoppable Force. And it became a big hit. The tape sold all over Yonkers. It was the biggest and best mixtape that I had ever made. People kept coming up to me asking if I had copies, wanting to know when I was putting out another one. I was proud of myself. I was learning, making money. My reputation as an MC was growing. Was this it? I was expressing myself with a freedom that I had never felt before. I was being heard. My words, my thoughts were being listened to. Motherfuckers never listened before. Could this rhyming shit really get me what I wanted? Didn't know I was special till this rap shit came to be. The Palace was an R&B club in New Rochelle. Every other week, they held a talent show that was open call, which meant that anyone could show up and perform. My cousin Mike told me that he heard some pretty good MCs in there a few weeks before, and I wondered if I could get the same kind of response in a club that I was getting with my mixtapes on the street. It was too crowded when Mike and I walked in a little before 8 p.m. They had a small stage set up toward the back of the dance floor and a DJ booth on the left-hand side. I had on my normal outfit, black jeans, sweatpants, Timbs, and a black hooded sweatshirt. I always wore a pair of sweatpants underneath my jeans to make my legs look a little thicker. The show had already started, and I was scheduled to go on after a rapper named Top Quality. Mike went to find a spot at the bar, but I just chilled near the stage to check out the competition. Most of the performers were sorry, but Top Quality was good. He kicked the rhyme over the beat to Teddy Riley's New Jack Swing, and the audience got up and started dancing to it. I couldn't figure out what he was saying, but I had never heard his kind of flow before, and it matched the rhyme of the song real good. And the way the crowd reacted, I could tell he was the man to beat. I knew that I could take him just on rhymes, but this wasn't a head to head battle or the kind of Yonkers ghetto crowd that I was used to. This was in a club in New Rochelle, so I was nervous and I wanted to come up with something different. The only thing that kept coming to my head was Spellbound. Well, when I got on stage and started spelling almost my whole 5 minute rhyme, the crowd started cheering and hollering. I think I spit 2 extra verses that I had never said before, just building on the energy of all those people. When the judge came out and announced that I was the winner, I nodded my head like I always knew was what was up. But it felt good. Spellbound had done it again. I'm the DMX, will FLEX on whoever is NEXT to the Flipinst, me. I'll FLIP like in ACROBAT with the critical RHYME. Leave competition, DEAD, or had them wishing they WERE. When I was coming off the stage, this guy approached me and said he was looking for some rap acts. He had a studio he worked with nearby and wanted to get artists in there to try to get them a record deal. He wasn't trying to sell me a big dream, but he thought that I was talented and should call him. His name was Jack McNasty. I took his business card but didn't pay much attention to what he was saying because I was busy talking to a shorty trying to get some pussy off my win. But a few days later, my cousin brought his name up. He said at the palace that night he had bet some guy, Jack, $50 that I would win the talent show. It seemed Jack lost his money to TQ. I was wondering why Mike was looking so happy that night. He didn't share any of that money with me. But that reminded me of our conversation. So I found Jack's card in my jeans pocket, grabbed a quarter from my cousin, and went to the phone booth. Yo, this is DMX. You still talking about that studio? Who is this? DMX, the nigga from Yonkers that was at Palace that night. Oh yeah, what's up? I was hoping you would call. Jack was an older guy born and raised in New Rochelle. He had an accounting background, but he and his brother promoted parties in the Bronx and were making connections with some record company folks. He had only been managing artists for a year, but I was impressed with the list of people he said he said came through his spot. Biz Markie, Just Ice, Big Daddy Kane, some of the biggest names in hip hop. I would definitely want to do a show in that kind of place, and knew that I was better than the kid top quality who had already gotten down with him. So I figured I didn't have anything to lose by fucking with him. He wasn't asking me to sign nothing. A few days later, Jack scooped me up from Yonkers and brought me over to his house in New Rochelle. I remember it had these big wooden poles in the front of it, like an old ranch. Inside, music was blasting. TQ was spitting rhymes, and this DJ kid named Shabazz was spinning records on the turntables. I stayed in a battle mindset, so I did my thing and went head to head with TQ for a couple of hours. TQ's lyrics were much more abstract than mine, filled with multi-syllable words and strange metaphors. I realized I liked the more direct approach. I wanted to be able to tell a story and talk about subjects that a crowd could understand. When I left, I gave Jack a new tape I had made. It had about 8 5-minute songs on it that I had done with Kason and a bunch of freestyles. Later, he told me that he really underestimated the extent of my writing ability. Cooler than a bottle of Coors, I'm refreshing, just like the great outdoors. Over the next couple of weeks, Jack would pick me up from Yonkers and take me and TQ to the recording studio that he was renting in White Plains. Since TQ had committed to him before I did, Jack let TQ do his thing first, but it wasn't long before Shabazz and I started making it happen in there. We did another version of Spellbound and songs called Three Little Pigs and Creativity. I didn't like the way Shabazz cut the beats as much as the way Kason rocked it. But now that I was in a proper studio, I was building a strong collection of material that sounded good. After a few weeks, Jack wanted something to send around to different record labels to try to get me a deal, so he took 3 of my best songs and put them on the tape. This was my demo. One of the first places Jack sent my demo to, though, wasn't a label, it was the hip hop magazine The Source. At the time, The Source was just a black and white newsletter, but they had a new artist column they ran every month called Unsigned Hype. And Jack thought if I won that, we would have no problem getting attention from the record companies. The magazine needed a picture of me, so the next day Jack brought a photographer to the studio. I borrowed TQ's long black trench coat to go over the white turtleneck that I was wearing, put on a hat with the skull and crossbones patch on the front, and we took some shots. Now I had a full blown demo tape and a black and white glossy photograph. DMX the Great was official, more official than I had ever been. But that still didn't give me Any more props with the chicks? Chapter 19. A bow-legged cutie. I think about when a nigga told a joke and the bitches didn't laugh. Daphne was a bow-legged cutie I met one afternoon in front of my grandmother's house. Short and brown skin with a small waist and a fat ass. She had just moved to the block from Connecticut and was walking home from the store. At 17, you were a real nigga if you could bag a chick that wasn't from the neighborhood on the walk by. How you doing? Looking at her long wavy hair, I knew Shorty must have had a little Indian going on in her family. I'm fine, how are you? I was gassed when she let me walk her the rest of the way home. And when we got to her building, we ended up sitting on her stoop talking for more than an hour. That's where it all started. So, you think I can call you tomorrow then? I was open. Daphne was a dime. Over the next few weeks, we got together almost every day. We would call each other and go hang out somewhere, get some Chinese food, or go to the movies. She always had her mother's car, and that was big. For a girl to be driving a dude around at that age, forget about it. I was doing it. I would be in the passenger seat, leaning back, grinning at all the losers on the block whenever we came through. Turn in that way, I would tell her, so that we would pass by as many people I knew as possible. She was scared of School Street. I don't want to go through there, D. Nah, you all right, girlfriend. That's my spot. This is where I live at. Sometimes Daphne would get lost coming to pick me up and end up driving through the whole project looking for Building 80. That was cool though, because by the time I came downstairs, everyone had seen the honey with the Connecticut plate. Yo, who's that? Yeah, that's me, nigga. A lot of times we would go to her house and I enjoyed that because her mom's was real cool with me. Earl, are you staying for dinner? She would always ask me. Mom's even smoked weed. Whenever I went over, I made sure that I had a nickel bag so that the two of us could smoke together. It was real. I felt a part of something. Then Daphne and I would just lay on each other for hours and watch television in the living room. It wasn't like we had to go out and do a lot of things. We could just spend good, quiet moments together. Whenever I knew that we were going out, though, I made sure I robbed at least two people that day so I would have money in my pocket. I couldn't be up in her face broke. If I was broke, I had to hide it. One time we were riding around and she said she was hungry. I just kept looking out the window like I didn't hear her. D, don't you want to get something to eat? She asked me again. Huh? What? I replied without turning around. I'm starving. Don't you want to stop at a restaurant or something? Oh, nah, I'm good, I said, finally looking at her. What, your mom's ain't cook? I was starving too. $20 was all I would need, though. With that, I could pad my wad of money with a lot of singles in the middle so the stack looked bigger when I pulled it out. Or I could just turn around when I paid for something. I made sure that Daphne and I always stayed local where it was cheaper and I wanted to show her off anyway. Nobody knew me in the Bronx or Manhattan, so we wouldn't go down there. I couldn't get any points that way. Since she had just moved here, I was one of the few people Daphne knew in Yonkers, and so it was good for her that I was thorough in the street. One night, in the back of School Street, some bum came over and started beefing with me about something. When it got violent, I kept kicking him in his back to the point where Daphne had to come over and pull me off of him. You know how a man gets when his girl has to break up a fight. Damn, I'm sure fucking glad that you were here, shorty, because I would have killed that motherfucker. I know, baby, you really let him have it. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, I said, trying to hide my smile. The only bad thing with Daphne was that she made me wait for the pussy. She had me on that gentleman thing, so I didn't get to have sex with Shorty for almost 2 months. But I was good with it. Everybody in the hood knew she was my girl, and I got official kisses in public, so nobody knew the difference. It was the best relationship with the woman that I had ever had. Then I went back to jail. It was only a 90-day bid, which by this time was nothing for me, But after the first month, I was feeling extra good because Daphne had already written me 3 letters and had come to see me. She was keeping me well taken care of, and I didn't hesitate bragging about her on the cell block. What? Y'all niggas is crazy. I'll be out of here in a minute, man, and none of y'all can touch the shorty I got at home. I put her picture right where everyone could see it. I didn't hear from her as much over the next 2 months. She sent me a few more letters but didn't visit again or send any more pictures. But I knew that she started working and probably must have gotten busy. The first day I got home, I went to go find her. But when I got to her block, I was surprised to find that she had moved back to Connecticut. Okay, that's probably why she hasn't kept in touch, I thought to myself. I'll just find her number in Stamford. I had never dialed the 203 area code before. Good afternoon, Mrs. Cody. I was always very polite when I called the girl's house. Oh, hi, Earl. How are you? No, Daphne is not here right now. She's at work at the mall. Would you like her number? Mom's was just as sweet as ever. Yo, what's up? I said to my girl when she came to the phone. Who is this? Earl? Yeah, what's up? I'm back. I want to see you. You're back already? Yeah, and my man Rick has a ride too. I'm going to get him to bring me up there tomorrow so we can see each other. Tomorrow? Oh, okay. I guess that's cool. Her voice didn't sound right, but Daphne was my girl. And now that I was used to getting pussy on a regular, 3 months without it was a long time, so I was thirsty. When a new kid moves into the projects who doesn't know anyone, the only way he'll survive is if he hooks up with the right person. Rick was fresh from out of state, but he had a car, so I let him roll with me. And in exchange for having his back in the street, I always had a ride. That day, I didn't want to go through the hassle of stealing something, especially when I just came out of jail. So I told Rick what was up, hooked up with my man Forrest, and the three of us drove to Connecticut. We got to the mall around 2 p.m. Rick had to rush back to Yonkers, so me and Forrest went in on our own, and as soon as we got inside, I saw Daphne walking with the girlfriend. She was still fly. Daphne. Oh, hey, what's up, D? You made it, huh? This was only my third day home. My clothes were hard, and I didn't have a haircut. I still had on my jail sneakers, but I was still me. I was still a nigga that chilled in your house and drove you around the projects. I was still the nigga that made tapes and had a rep. Why was she sounding like that? Well, why don't you meet me when I get off around 9 p.m.? She said, stepping away. Where should I meet you? Um, I'll just come right back here. She sounded real shady. And then, as soon as she was gone, I realized that it was only 2 p.m. Neither me or Forrest had a dime in our pocket. We were already starving, and now we were stuck in the middle of some bullshit mall. What the fuck are we gonna do now, D? Forrest asked me. I just tried to think positive thoughts. Daphne's got a car. She'll drive us back to her house. Her mom's probably made dinner. We'll be straight. 3 p.m., 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 hours later, we weren't so good. At 9:15, there was still no sign of Daphne, and with the gates coming down on most of the stores, security came and told us we had to leave. But I'm waiting for my girl. Not in here, you're not. The mall was closed. I was furious. Stanford was not Yonkers. Everything was all spread out. There were no other stores or people on the street. There were buses out in the parking lot, but we wouldn't know where to go, and we didn't have any money anyway. So Forrest and I just followed the signs to the Metro North station. Maybe we could hide in the bathroom of the train or hope for a nice conductor. Either way, I was getting the fuck out of there. A block or two away from the station, we saw a big crowd of folks standing outside of this nightclub. It was a Thursday night, and I could see that a few of the chicks online had some badass outfits on, and we could hear music playing inside. Me and Forrest went over to make it happen. Fuck Daphne. I'm DMX the Great. One of these bitches is gonna give me some pussy. We hadn't been over there 10 minutes when Daphne and her girlfriend walked up. I couldn't believe it. The second I saw her, I got heated. What's up, girl? I yelled out to her. Oh, what's up, D? What do you mean, what's up, D? I thought we were supposed to be hanging out tonight, Daphne. I've been waiting for you all day. Oh, I'm sorry. Something came up. The other people in the line started to watch us argue. You're sorry? That's fucked up, Daphne. Me and my man don't have a way of getting home or nothing now. I thought, before I could finish, she cut me off. What you thought, D? That I was gonna drive you home? Oh shit. I never felt so small in my entire life. She said it loud, too. Then she made it worse. And what kind of nigga comes all the way to Connecticut with no money in his pocket? That hurt. That hurt bad. The other girls on the line looked at me, waiting for a response, but all I could manage to was a real fragile fuck you under my breath. Come on, yo, I said to my man, slowly walking away. Let's go rob something. So much for being a big time rapper. Despite how well my plans with my music were going, and despite all of these people around me who seemed to have my back, like Kason, Jack, and Shabazz, somehow I was still more comfortable alone. Most nights after I finished selling whatever tapes I had, I would walk through the whole city of Yonkers by myself and not want to interact with anybody. I'd go from Riverdale to Whitney Young to Warburton. I'd walk through School Street, up the Slow Barn Projects, then down Palisades Avenue, and be happy just being in my own head. It was safe, familiar, and it gave me a chance to think. I thought so fucking much. Sometimes while I walked, I would compose a rhyme in my head. From one end of the city to the other, I easily thought up 24 bars, always starting with the first line of the song and ending with the last. But most of the time, I let that solitude give me the chance to wonder about my life. That time alone gave me the space to ask myself all of the questions that I needed answered. And I always started with the biggest one. Why? Why, mama, do you do the things you do? Now that I was grown, I was beginning to understand that my frustration with my mother was less to do with all the beatings and the punishment that she gave me, but more because she never could answer that simple question. Her answer for everything was always because I said so. But I knew enough to want to hear more than that. I needed her to give me a reason. Mama, maybe I'm too young to deserve that respect, but please, can't you understand that I need that respect? Sometimes I wish my mother was around to hear those thoughts, but of course she wasn't. It was just me.